Our kids that go D3, I look at their friend group. It's kids that aren't playing college basketball or it's Division 3 players. Now, you give me a McDonald's All-American, look at his friend group. They're all McDonald's All-Americans.
Welcome to another episode of the Good Drill Podcast. We have a very special guest today on the Good Drill Pod. His name is, most of you know him by Hennen. Name is Shane Hennen. Hennen workouts, posts a lot of good content, works with some good players, and he's got a lot to say today on episode 26. Enjoy the show.
If you brick everything like Ross and want to swish everything like me, well, guess what? We just released a 21-day shooting quest. That's right, a quest, not a program, and it is guaranteed to make you a better shooter in 21 days, and it only takes 20 minutes a day, and guess what? It's only $19. It's called Swish Everything, and it's located on the Good Drill app. Get it. Shane, what do you do for work, man?
Man, I am, what would I describe myself? I'm a skills trainer who does a lot of camps. I'm a content creator, in a sense. And what else do I do? I used to run an academy. I don't do that right now, but we might do that in the future. Right now, it's a lot of online stuff. It's a lot of content, and it's a lot of camps. That's basically where I'm at.
What's the academy like? What do you do? What did you do there?
So when I was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and in Des Moines, we had like our own gym, similar to what you guys have. Not the same setup, but just membership training. Like we'll have our groups basically. Didn't do much individuals. It was all small group stuff. So we stepped away from that, or I stepped away from that. My wife and I, we moved to like a more rural area. Like we're really out in the middle of nowhere. And that's not quite possible to do out here. I could probably set something up, but we just haven't yet.
That's Bobby's dream. Oh, wait, I think I probably played. I played Division II basketball, and the Elite Eight for Division II is in Sioux Falls, and we made it to the Elite Eight one year. Is it that place?
The Pentagon, right?
Yeah, the Pentagon. Yeah,
dude. Yeah. I used to work there when I first started. They had like a salaried position, and I was like, I don't know, 26 or 27, and as like a young guy in basketball, it was like one of the best jobs in that area. So I took it, did that for about a year and a half or 2 years, and then I branched off on my own. But that facility is amazing, man.
Yeah, no, it's very nice there. All I know is losing there.
Yeah. Who'd you guys play against?
We played against Southern Missouri. They won the national. They always won. Like back when I was that. Like they won like a couple times in a row. They had a really good guard. Their team was ridiculous. They had some dude that wore a headband that just freaking lit it up. We called him Powder. We had our own nickname for him. His name was Powder. He was actually bald. He was bald. He's a bald white dude, but like he didn't have eyebrows, but he was fine. But he was
fine. Just in case you were worried,
he was fine.
He didn't have eyebrows, but he was fine.
Everybody was wondering. He was fine.
Eyebrows. He did all right.
He shot like 43% from three, ran corner to corner. He was the only not athletic guy on their team. But yeah, so I forget the exact name. Missouri State. We lost by freaking. We didn't have anybody on our team. Everybody was hurt, but we lost by like 8. Should have won it. But anyways, I on social media on TikTok, I saw I don't see like really anybody else's stuff for the most part, like trainer stuff, but I saw a video where it was like day 70 something of like the character,
the parts, yeah.
That is so good. That is so good the way you do that. How long does one of those videos take, like on average? Like between ideation and like putting it together and then actually filming it and then like post-production stuff?
Some episodes obviously take longer than others. Writing, I'm like a guy that needs a script. Like I don't want to mess around. I don't want to like wing it. So writing a script is probably like, I don't know, a 20 to 30 minute process, depending on like, you know, if I know what's going on. Like I've taken a couple breaks from it. So like when I take a break, I got to get back into it and think about what I want to write. Writing the script's probably about 20 minutes. Then I got to get to the gym and I'm playing everybody. You know what I mean? Like I got to move the tripod. I got to change the clothes. I got to act different. I got to edit this together. I would say altogether, one episode that's anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes probably takes an hour to 2 hours.
That's not that bad.
That's not bad.
No, I thought it was going to be way longer.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's just the process of actually doing it is so tedious because you just have to reposition. So what I'll do is like, let's say I had 4 characters in this episode. What I'll have to do is film everybody's part at once. Like I'll film this guy's part, all his lines, and then I'll go to the next guy. But then I got to remember, like, oh yeah, this is where this guy was speaking. I got to reposition the camera to make sure it's like it makes sense and everything's aligned. So that thing has been a grind, man. It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time because now when I post something on TikTok and it's not part 150 whatever, people would be like, "Yo, what? Where's the next part? Where is
Yeah,
all this stuff?"
it's so
But
good.
it did help me grow. And I do feel like it's very entertainment, obviously, but I do feel like I've snuck some good things in there, and I've kept it pretty real. Like it's not like just a happy story. There's like a lot of struggles that kids would go through in a JUCO, going to high school to college, things like that.
That's why it
Bad
does.
coaches,
That's why it
good
does well.
coaches. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's relatable, I think.
No, it's
So
good.
it's no, it's been good, man. It's I got to wrap it up here soon though. It's been going on way too long. So,
Yeah.
Do you have a piece of content that you're most proud of?
oh, that's a great freaking question. I just put one out that I really liked. I've been I mean I try new content all the time. Like I try new stuff every day almost. And I did one where every clip is me doing something new. So like I just rotated the camera and I was just doing something else, but I was talking about how to go, how to use AAU to get better instead of just playing. The piece didn't actually do that well engagement wise, but I love the way that I filmed it. It was really easy. I love the message. I just probably got to find a better way to get people hooked on it, either a better title or something like that. And there's a couple other pieces. Like I actually listened to your guys' podcast. I couldn't even guess what episode it was, but Ross was talking about the confidence that you have from school ball versus AU and like how that shifts. I don't know if you remember that conversation at all, but it was just like, how do you get some of that stuff to carry over? Why is there such a big difference? And I made a video and I didn't even give a solution to the kids. I just talked about it. It was AAU confidence versus high school confidence. And it went crazy. Like the engagement was wild. I had like parents texting me saying, this is exactly what my kid is going through, blah, blah, blah. And it was, that was a good one that I remember a lot. So I don't know. Anytime I bring up something that's really relatable or a pain point and I get people to message me, that's always a pretty good feeling, but
Yeah,
it doesn't always work that way.
your style of content is different than ours, but the process is the same thing, right? So we might do quicker videos, maybe less editing, but we're still trying to think, what are the problems that these kids are having and how do we talk
Exactly.
about those problems? A lot of times we're giving solutions, but even just to highlight, what's going on out there and looking at it from a kind of zoomed out perspective, it could be a big topic of AAU versus high school basketball or a topic of how to help somebody's left hand. It's still going into the piece of content with like we're taking into consideration who our demographic is, who the viewers are, and we're trying to enter the conversation of that they're already having.
Yep. No, and that's why I like listening to you guys' podcasts or really, most basketball podcasts are okay, but I like listening to them because I'll get content ideas that way. And even watching other people's stuff, like the way you guys post, like you just said, Bobby, is way different than I am, but I can get ideas from what you guys are talking about, pain points of kids not being able to shoot or whatever it is, and just formatted a different way. But we do post differently, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's,
And dude, in the
talking about
same
the
breath,
same stuff.
we're looking at your stuff and be like, how did he film this hook? How did he look at this? How did he place it? Like, so you might be
The
taking
hook,
idea. I think,
though.
there's nothing wrong with that. We're all in this. We're all looking at each other's stuff and we see it. Oh, this is working. This is working. I'm sure it happens across the board with every, trainer out there that's making content.
The video with like Steve Kerr going in, like POV, you're about to coach the
Coach
Warriors.
the Warriors.
That,
Yeah.
dude. What do you know what your watch time was on that video? It must
I
have
should
been
look.
like 50+%. Like most
Yeah.
people got to like 50 plus. Yeah.
I try the watch time thing is so difficult to understand. It's like one of the hardest like metrics to get people to do. You know what I mean? Like the views and the likes are somewhat easier, but the watch time is very difficult. I'll have to check on that one, but I did a couple of those. Like the first one I did was POV. You're coaching the 2016 Rockets, and it's literally just like Eric Gordon standing in the corner, James Harden just ISO, and people were like giving Harden a hard time. I'm like, bro, they had like the best record in the West that year. So it's just like I like those types of stories, and that obviously is way more I would say, entertainment based than I guess educational. So I don't know. I like to slide the scale a little bit and dabble into like, just having a little bit of fun because Instagram and TikTok is very, I would say, entertainment based. And I do put a lot of educational stuff out. Like on YouTube, I'll put some stuff out. Obviously, we both have the apps. Like there's ways for kids to learn from us, whether it be online or in person. So trying to take some time to kind of be funny or, just put out different things like that, I guess.
Why did you start making content in the first place?
To make more money, not money, online, but to make more money in my training. I noticed like when I first started in 2015, whenever Instagram came out with the clips, which is like everybody's story of how they started. But I noticed when I would tag these kids, whether it be stories or whether it be in a video, I would get more kids to come through. And I always thought like tagging these high school kids during the workout was like such a marketing cheat code because they always wanted to share it. Like every kid wants to show that they're in the gym, like doing this stuff. That's like they want to show everybody what they're doing. And the more I did that, the more people came in and the more people reached out. And there were some other people in Sioux Falls that did training. And it was like one of those things that somebody else wasn't willing to do. And I was like, I'll do it. So, yeah, it was just like an extra step that I was willing to take to help the business. And then obviously it has shifted.
We've never talked about this. I did the exact same thing building my local gym. I did the same thing. Anytime I had players in, I would take a little snapshot of them, put them on the story, tag them, they repost. I don't do it anymore, but that's all of my posting back 8 years ago was just tagging people and having them share it. And it built my gym to the point we had a wait list. And obviously you got to do a good job when they get in there.
It's and I would do it like if I didn't care about, some of the social stuff I care about now, like if I was just running a local place, I would do the exact same thing. Like all my content would be the players, because parents see that and they like to get a kid to come to your gym and try it out, whether they're not training with somebody else or they are. There's a lot of steps that have to happen. Like, you have to say, no, I'm not coming to your workout anymore, sir. I'm going to go try this new guy. You got to drive there. You got to feel comfortable in the gym. Maybe there's people that you don't know. Like there's just a lot of steps to get them in the gym. So I noticed like, if I can just show online, like this is a safe place, I'm a good dude, there's great stuff happening, it makes that process of kids signing up a lot easier. So if I was like a beginning trainer, that's all I would do right now. I'd just be tagging all these kids and put them in my content. But yeah, I mean, I grew that way too. I mean, I think I got up to, I don't know, 10 or 50K off of just the showing the workouts. Looking back at it now, it's like not the best content, but I mean, that's what I was doing.
How did you start to get into the skits and changing your content? When did that happen?
It's a great question. After I left the Pentagon, actually, that salary position, what I didn't want any time in my career for me to have to rely on players to build my brand, make me money, whatever it is. I wanted to rely on myself. I wanted to be the brand. So I wanted to make sure that I was the one making the money. And I also had talked to, some brands and some people and talked to other content creators like Peter Danliv was a great example. Brands want to see your face. They want you talking. They want you in front of the camera. And I knew that was going to be good for brands, but I also knew it was going to be better for business long-term. Just me being in front of the camera and doing that. As far as skits go, I don't remember when I started. I don't even remember why I started. I do remember not wanting to put some of that stuff out and then just trying, and some of it sucked and some of it got better. Still today, there's some stuff I put out. I'm like, nah, that wasn't it. And we just make adjustments.
Were you nervous when you started doing the skits? Was that like a big step into uncomfortability?
Yeah, I even think just filming myself in general, like I probably did like 3 or 4 years of just filming my players and my workouts. And then, God, again, some of these videos are pretty bad, but even filming myself doing drills or whatever it was, it's not that I can't play and I didn't look good doing them. It was just the idea of like, I'm in a gym by myself filming. Like, what if somebody walks in and looks at me funny? What are people going to think? Blah, blah, blah. But, once you get some, success that way, all that goes out the window and you feel way more comfortable. So yeah, I would say, yeah. And I do think trainers feel like that too. So I think that's a thing when I talk to trainers, like filming yourself or just producing content in general. I don't know if it's fear or something else, but I know they're facing something.
if you have a new player coming to the gym, complete 180. You have a new player coming to the gym. What's like, and I think it's very different for people that make content. I trust people that make content more than anybody else, because if you're making content, the amount of thought you have to put into like what you do and why you do it and how you communicate it is way up. Like, you're already a leg up above everybody else. But but everything always changes. Like, everything's constantly, there's different mindsets that are constantly changing. As it currently is right now, like, what is something you're really thinking about when it comes to training and player development that you feel is important?
I think it's like, I was talking to Bobby about this on the phone the other day. I think it's like being able to slide the scale. Like, I came from a very small area where there was obviously no training, and all we did was hoop. And I got better by just playing pickup, but I also wasn't playing great competition. So like, I know the message of like, hey, just go play, you'll get better, isn't always true, because I live that. I did get better, but there's a lot of things I couldn't do. And then when I got done playing, I learned some of the footwork stuff and the terminology, and I taught myself it. And then I noticed, like, the more I was repping that out, the more I learned it, understood the patterns. When I started playing, some of these moves popped up. So like, for instance, all throughout high school and in college, I probably never did like an under drag or like a punch drag stop. I never did that. I don't know why. It was either just shoot or get to the rim, rarely change directions. When I started learning the footwork stuff, I ended up doing it more. So I know that for me personally, there is value in almost like everything. And I have a very a high respect for coaches as well, the concept stuff. So I see like skill enhancement. I see some short sided games, live play, and just putting them in tough situations where their body has to adjust. And I also see the concept stuff, and I have a respect for all of it. And I feel like at this point in the training industry, you almost have to pick, which is kind of uncomfortable for me. Like, I want to slide the scale, and I'll see kids that come in, and I don't want to have to put my coaching hat on, but we're playing 3-on-3, and they don't know what a slip cut is when the defenders are switching on a down screen, and that bothers me. So then I'm like, guys, listen, this is what this is. I got to put the coaching hat on and do that. So right now, I would say my perspective on my training is I'm able to slide the scale. I think I lean a little bit more towards keeping things, this is kind of a vague way to say this, but keeping things simple. And I think there's a lot of kids that, if you just gave them the ability to shoot the ball, if they were a little stronger and faster, if they had a little bit better understanding of the concept stuff, they'd be that step would go a long way. All the moves and all of these things, they're definitely going to help. They helped me, but I think a lot of kids really struggle with some of the, I don't want to say basics, but like just being able to shoot the ball. So yeah, I don't know. And is your other question too, when somebody comes in the gym, it's totally different all the time. I mean, sometimes I'll just sit back and talk with them, and I'll just watch them dribble and watch them shoot, give them an eyeball test, and I can pick up a lot from that. I'll listen to them talk and see if they're a little bit more outgoing or if they're a little bit more quiet, if mom and dad made them come here, if they want to be here. Like, you could pick up a lot from that as well, I think.
I found it really interesting what you said. What level did you play at?
NAI.
All right, so you were a good basketball player, right?
I was good in high school. When I got to college, it was a struggle because I was really raw. And I got recruited because I could score, but I was just raw.
Yeah. And then once you got into skill development stuff and started working on your game and your handle, you saw a spike.
Big time. After I got done playing. Yep.
And I think that's normal. I think there's a lot of people that you probably focused on playing, scoring, driving, shooting, playing, and like winning a game, right? And you kind of had that box checked. And if I say anything wrong, tell me to shut up. But I'm looking at what happened in your life where you had the ability to play basketball. And that's what you focused on, scoring and winning, doing what you had to do. And you had that box checked. And then you went and started working on your handle with the punch drag or the hip swivel or whatever else. And and now you're able to apply that to the game because, in my opinion, thinking out loud, you had already checked that box of how to play. And I think a lot of kids don't know how to play, and they're spending hours by themselves in the gym, but they're missing the first box that need to be checked, and is really understanding how to play the game of basketball. And if you could check that box, then you can input any skill philosophy that you want to put into it. And I think it's going to have a lot more carryover, but they're missing the point of learning how to play the game.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I like the way you put it with the boxes too. I also think like, and I've heard both you guys, I've heard Ross talk about this. Like in college, you get you get kind of labeled a certain thing, and it's really hard to get out of that label. That like, hey, he's the shooter. This is what he does. Mentally, what that does to a player is like, I don't know. It just puts him in a box, and that's kind of how I would say my college career was really good in high school, could score in a lot of ways, but then you play better competition because I came from the middle of nowhere. Like I didn't, I had my dad's a farmer, like he did his best, but he didn't know any of this stuff. So, I'm playing bad competition and get to college and everybody's a lot better, even at the NAI level. And, I turned it just a shooter, and the skill development in college, like as we all know, isn't great. So it was just hard. It was hard to get better in college. I got a lot better when I got done, like you're saying, but yeah, it was just hard to improve skill wise. So
I was the same way where like I worked really hard and it's like I freaking I see how players work and I have a sense, I get a good feel. If I was training now, I'd be in like in terms of volume and intensity, like I'd be in the 99 percentile. I freaking worked my ass off. The problem is that I wasn't when I got to college, all of my teammates would constantly talk about, oh, I played in this like EYBL thing or this like whatever circuit team Nike thing. I played with a bunch of Division One players. It's like I played with one borderline Division One player, which was Tobias Harris's brother Terry, and he went to Houston Baptist, which is like they won probably 3 games the next year that he got there. Partly maybe only made it because of XYZ, but like I'm playing with like I don't know, the freshmen on my team were good. I'm not playing against like super good competition. I get to college, everyone's freaking nasty. And the coach that I played for, Tobin from Iowa, he's an amazing recruiter. He's recruiting players that at the time are probably Division One players. You go down the line a couple years, I have three future player of the years in the whole country for Division Two basketball, Division Two All-Americans, first team All-Americans. So he's really good, but I always struggled to do the things that I want, but I was like, I just did my best. And I think that like, if I had the competition, it doesn't matter how hard I worked. Like if I had the competition to contextualize what's going on, I would have made those adjustments. And to Bobby's point, I think timing is everything. And I think when you're somebody that doesn't consider timing of information in the macro or micro, you're gonna give something that somebody's not ready for.
That's exactly what I'm talking about with sliding the scale. Like
yes.
Understanding where they're at and what it's really hard, obviously, but the more information you get from them, the more you get to know the kid. It's a lot easier. But like for you guys, like if I came to you guys when I was in high school and, you have to understand, I grew up in a town of like 300 people. I'm playing small 1A class basketball. These kids are not good players. Great athletes, good at football, good at some of those sports, but not very skilled. The other thing is I'm not surrounded by intensity. You know what I mean? Like, my dad wasn't soft on me. I mean, but I'm not surrounded by a lot of players that are super intense that are trying to rip your head off. I'm not surrounded by that. And I don't have the skill. What do you think you guys would do with me? Like if I came to your guys' gym and I was like, all right, I'm going to college next year. What do I need to do?
I think a big part of it is like words over time mean so like less and less and less because people often say the wrong words. Like I'm working with somebody right now that came to me, they're older. They said like, I want to get my left hand right and I want to be a better shooter. And if I could just have those two things, but then the first time I'm like getting over that, I want it to go really well. I'm watching them play and I'm like, you know what? Like you're underplaying the problems that you have because the potential that you have is actually way much more than just tight. But then it's also playing with how much are they willing to work? How much time are they willing to put in against the goal? Do they want like a little quick thing? And it's kind of just like feeling it out and then seeing, okay, we go through a workout where it's like, my intention is I just go, right? I'm just going and I'm just seeing and I'm just like adjusting things on the fly. And then it's like, then after the workout, okay, like there's a feeling of, and there's conversation around, wow, like I just did something I've never done before. I have to kind of change my perspective on like what I could do. So there's a piece to it where yes, there's a conversation, but then there's another piece to it of like, what is the person in front of me doing? And then I'm just freaking taking in all of that information of what they're doing, trying to figure out why they're doing what they're doing, putting them in all different types of situations and seeing who they want to be. There's players that you put them in the same drill. We have this 1-on-2 drill, right? We had a gym where there was 12 people in a group. We do 1-on-2 threes only. There's a girl that has 15 Division I offers, and then there's another girl that's a sophomore that's she's getting better really fast, but she's not there yet. And the way they both approach the drill is completely different. The one with all the Division I offers, she approaches the drill a little bit. I get a sense a little bit like this doesn't really matter. This doesn't really matter that much for my game because she's more of a shooter. She'll take a couple dribbles, whatever. So the way she approaches it is this is where I'm at. I'm going to play like this. This is how I play in games. The other one has less context. She just wants to freaking be the best she could possibly be. So she misses a shot. She can't get her shot off. She's just freaking pissed all the time. So it's kind of seeing how are you responding in a drill to understand what actually matters to you. So it's for you, if you were to come to us and say, I want to play in college next year. Okay, I hear that. Now let me put you in. Let me see how much you actually want to play in college.
See how I respond.
Yes, because there's words, but we could say the same thing, but our behaviors can be completely different in the same environment, regardless of what we say.
If literal you came into our gym, and I know you're coming from a town with 300 people in it and 7,000 cows, right? And I know that. I'm putting you in our middle, even if you're 17 and telling me that you're a college player, I'm going to an NAIA school. When I hear that, I'm I'm not sold on that conversation that he's ready for our top level. So what I'm going to do is bring you into our middle level class, which is JV kids, really good middle schoolers, mid-tier high school players. And then I'm not going to say much to you at all. And I want you to go through a workout, and maybe Ross runs it, maybe one of our other trainers run it, and I'm going to see, is he driven? Does he have some type of competency? Can he shoot the ball? Where is he at? And if I see that you're hungry and I see that you're not going to slow up my top level, the next session, I'm bumping you up or letting you stay for that next session that day. And in that session, you're telling me, right, Shane, that you want to play Division I basketball. I promise you, if you get to stay for our level 3 class, there's going to be 7 Division I players in there. And you're going to be around the players that you want to compete with, and you're going to get a dose of truth very, very fast.
I think
I like that.
Most people say things that they don't actually know what they're saying. The only reason why players say they want to play in the NBA is because they see it on TV. They see the NBA on TV. If it wasn't for television, you'd have no access to those players. But here's the thing. There's the whole thing with Scalabrine, and everybody thought they could beat Scalabrine based on what they see on TV. Oh, he doesn't play that much, whatever. It's not. It gives you, the TV gives you just enough information to fool yourself, right? When you're actually live, that's another level. When you actually see the game live. When you're actually courtside, that's a whole different level. When you're actually playing against the players, you can't even describe, most people won't be able to describe what's happening, but it's these guys are way better than me, and for some reason I want to shit myself. I cannot stick with these guys. Most people don't have that experience, but yet they say, I want to play Division I basketball, or I want to play NBA. These guys are killers. They are killers, and no one I can say that. You don't know what that means unless you're actually against them. They're going to freaking kill you and freaking humiliate you, and you're saying you want to go play that. No, you don't have no idea what the hell that means, and that's okay. But you're just saying that because you see what's going on TV. Okay, let's see how much you really want that. Let's see. And
I have some distinct memories of my dad used to do a good job of, I had to grow up where I had to grow up, but then he would bring me to Minneapolis, which was probably about 3-ish hours away. And I remember playing Tyus Jones when he was an 8th grader. I was probably going to be a senior. He just absolutely killed me, destroyed me, one of the fastest kids I've ever played against. And even just that experience, plus just going up to the cities and playing those types of players, I remember feeling holy crap, this is not good. You almost to the point where I can't do it. There's no point. Those experiences are so helpful, because I remember going back to my small town after that and be this is so slow. This is so easy. And I think just bouncing back and forth as a kid was so valuable to me. I do wish that I found a way to, find some better competition before I went to college, just to get that experience. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
I think about it. Our kids that go D3, I look at their friend group. Who's their friend group? Right? Not take basketball completely out of the equation. My kids that go D3, look at their friend group. It's kids that aren't playing college basketball, or it's Division III players for the most part. Now, you give me a McDonald's All-American, look at his friend group. They're all McDonald's All-Americans.
This episode of the Good Drill podcast is powered by the Good Drill app. The Good Drill app just got a major upgrade. You can see all that green there. We got a new product in there. Swish, everything. A lot of new products and new things to come inside. Don't miss it. Click that link in the description.
Do you think as a as a parent, Bobby, is that something that if you want your kid to play in sports or whatever sport it is, do you think that's important, surrounding them with those types of other kids?
Well, they're not. Most of them aren't anywhere near the level they need to be at to be friends with those kids or surround themselves with those kids. They haven't. Those kids have been dribbling a basketball 10 hours a day since they were 9 years old, right? And they've been competing at the highest level since they were at 9 years old. They're dogs. They have 10 years of being a dog in front of your kid who just wants to play Division I basketball, and he says that. So there's potentially 10 years of work before you can get to that level. Can it happen faster? Yes, but you want to get on that trajectory. It's the only way, right? It's no amount of shots in the gym by yourself, no amount of dribbles around cones by yourself, no amount of skill work by yourself will ever get you there. So now if I have a kid that is nowhere near that level but wants it really bad, I'm going to get him as close to that level as possible. And he's going to have to stay in that fire for as long as it takes. And the reality is, it might never happen, or actually it probably won't ever happen because it's so freaking hard, but it's the only way. And that removes all the thought about how we train athletes, because I really deem this the most important thing. It's the same if you have 5 millionaire friends, you're probably the sixth one, but if you have 5 broke friends, you're probably the sixth broke friend. It's the same thing in basketball.
I'll caveat to that. I will say, I think Jalen Brunson makes it to the NBA with his dad.
His dad was in the NBA.
But like there's a distinction here, because it's like, all right, what's the environment, and is that all inclusive of what's happening on the court, or can it also be exclusive from what's happening on the court? And it's like somebody else, like I think what we can do, I think the most important thing is the player's intuition. What do they want to do? What do they love? Do they want to be really good? Do they want to just get good at scoring? Do they want to just play with their friends? Do they want to be a little bit better to be good in pickup? What do they really want? What's their intuition? And then like an outside thing is I can see the person in front of me, and then I can make myself a part of what they're doing. I can see what they're doing, and that reciprocates at some level. They get success. That's my success. That it's either gratifying for me that they have success, the relationship that you build, the athletes that you're able to attract because of that success, and when you genuinely do it, like if you can imprint yourself on somebody else's journey 100%, but it doesn't always have to be environment is the players. Like you can create an environment. Like there's like if you know the standard, you have the standard. I've been around good players. I don't have like if I'm going to put my money on it, like I would be really good at getting somebody to play Division I, Division II basketball. I need to be around more NBA guys. Like if I want to if I want to get somebody to the NBA, my next thing would be like, I want to see like, what are the habits? Like I want to be Austin Reeves, like watching Steph Curry before a game. That's what I want to do. You know, I think like that's how we get better, is you understand what is the standard. And I think like guys like Jalen Brunson, guys like Steph Curry that has Del Curry, like showing him like what are the habits you have to have, what are the things you need to do. That's just as much of an environment as anything else.
The biggest predictors for making it to the NBA is being over 7 feet tall or having a family member that played professional sports.
Sure.
That's proven. That's the facts. It's exactly right. And I think that doesn't like go against what I was saying. I think it's just in addition to what I was saying.
But I think people will say like, oh, the environment, like you could do all these other things like without having to play against other people, but it's not just about the people that you're playing against. Actually, it's the like who are you surrounded by? What is the standard that you're surrounded by?
Yes.
You know?
Do you think kids are thinking of that? Because when they go on their phones, they see nothing about that. Like how much content have you seen about environment building or being around the right group of people?
There's a reason we post good drills, follow me, and not we post good environments, follow me. Like there's a reason.
Yeah.
I also don't think it's something that needs to be forced or thought about. I think you could look at it as unlucky, lucky, whatever. Like, you were who you were around. I was who I was around. I did the best I could, and I translated those things as much as I could past it. And it just is what it is. It's the things that I sought after. I wasn't, honestly, like, if I'm going to be honest, like, I wasn't super hungry to get as good as possible. I was super hungry to compete against the people in front of me and to go really hard and to freaking, like, dominate the thing in front of me. I wasn't thinking, like, I would say, oh, I want to play in the NBA. But if I really wanted to, like, I would go find, like, those players. Like, that's what I would do. And I know that. Like, no one needs to say that. So I think the intuition of the player, like, that's where that happens. That's step one. And then somebody else helping them out, the science behind what they're doing, all can come after. But the step one is, like, the art of it. Like, why do you even start in the first place?
So that intuition should take over. So why do you think there are so many kids that are just doing drills, like just solo, thinking like, if as long as I do these specific drills, it's going to get me to where I need to be? Because there's a lot of kids, when I talk to kids, they literally think that like that's their answer. Like, why haven't I seen success? Why doesn't coach whatever, all these issues?
Because there's a positive feedback loop. So they execute the skill without the defense, or they couldn't execute a skill without defense, and then they can execute a skill without defense. Oh, I just learned something. I just got better. And while that's true, what you just got better at isn't a necessary predictor of how you're going to play the game. So they're getting either feedback from coaches, feedback from themselves, that they're going in the right direction, which they are, but ultimately the direction that they need to go to is, how do you do it in the game?
Yeah.
Doesn't want to work.
So you can check up. We talked about checking boxes before. This NBA player gets up 1,000 shots a day, so I'm going to get 1,000 shots a day, and that's going to get me to the NBA. You're not taking into account the 1,000 other variables that NBA player had. And it's easy, so it becomes easy. And initially, when you go shoot, if you've never shot 1,000 shots a day and you go shoot 1,000 shots a day, you will get better at shooting initially. But ultimately, you're no longer at the edge of your ability, and what you're really going to get good at 100% is shooting 1,000 shots a day alone in the gym, right? Yeah. At some point, you need to take that somewhere else. You need to change the variables. You need to do something different.
And this is why I like creating the content that I try to make, is bringing some stories like this or some points like this and somehow getting it to where a kid can like digest it without, dumbing it down too much, because kids don't really need that. They're smarter than we think, but being able to like create a piece of content that talks about this conversation where they can actually understand that, or a parent can understand it, then have that conversation with the kid. That's why you asked me what my favorite piece of content was. I think it's when I can find something like this, and whether it gets engagement or not, I feel like, hey, we talked about a good topic here that other trainers didn't think about doing something a little bit different. So it's harder to do that, but I do think it's important.
Yeah, you say, here, I got you. You get up thousands of shots every single day, but still brick every shot in game, and you get the bricks. We have the purple bricks. All right, then stop doing that and do this instead.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean though. Like, when I also feel good. Like, if I'm really connecting, that's just one way to connect though. Like, if I'm really connecting to the thing that I'm posting, and the thing also that people almost expect me to deliver on, the value for me to deliver on, that'll feel a little bit more gratifying once it's all done, posted, regardless of how it does. So yeah, I 100% get that.
What do you think the next phase is for your guys' content? Like, you guys obviously have your recipe. You've changed it up, small changes here and there. Is there another phase you're thinking about?
Less on the content perspective, more on the product creation perspective is where we're at right now. Okay. So, and that honestly harnesses our content. So if we build and create more products that we are proud of, that we can stamp and are excited about. So in the beginning of content, it was so exciting to get views and followers, and that was like a big metric, and it really meant something. You get to a level that all three of us are actually at now, and the views and the likes, you don't get that same dopamine hit, right? But that took a ton of hours, that took a ton of obsessing, that took a ton of creativity, trying things, testing, failing. Now what we're doing is really focusing on getting that, putting that, our energy, our creative energy, our obsessive energy into creating unbelievable products. And then once we have these unbelievable products, now we'll have new energy to put out into the world to sell our products.
Yeah, I like that.
It's really just like the step in front. I'm really big on like the whole intuition thing, like this, like what's the next step? Like we'll just take the next step. Like, and if you find yourself that you got yourself where you don't know how you got there, it's like, all right, just go back. Like where'd you mess up? And then like, okay, retrace your steps a little bit. Okay. Like this was a problem that I shouldn't have done that. This is the reason why I did it. Okay, let's start over. Boom. So I think for us, it's like we got to freaking just put out little products that we really like. We create a shooting product, Swish everything.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that today.
It's that's another part, and I consider that content just as much as anything else. And especially if somebody buys it and puts money behind it, it's like tying them to what we're saying even more. So it's like Swish everything is what is the essence of it is challenge your ability to put the ball exactly where you want to put it, regardless of the situations that you're in, and you'll become a better shooter. Now, is it going to be 100% exactly what everybody needs? No, but is it going to be like 90, 80% for most people? Definitely. And if somebody literally goes through it for 21 days and you get a result, oh, you know what? I pushed myself. It was a little bit tougher. I didn't just shut my brain off and go to the gym and get a good workout. I actually like objectively try to be better. And there's a way to put numbers behind what I'm doing. Oh, okay. You know what? I respect this. What's the next thing here? Like, I want to keep going further into this, So I think the products have the power to do that. Something where people can buy it, have the product. Of course, we want a business result. Like, that's what we're doing. But like when you're actually making the product to get that business result, it's what is the thing that the person needs the most? Like, how can I deliver on a result for them in something that I believe and intertwine the principles that we have so that they can get the most out of it? And when you make a lot of things like that, all of a sudden now that's like what our brand is, and we're trying to keep building in that direction.
I like what you guys have done too, because myself trying to work with brands and whatever it is, get brand deals. It's a good thing to do. It's good money, but what you guys are doing is you are your own brand. You're selling your own product, which in the long run financially is going to make you more money. And it's just way easier to talk about. It's way easier to speak about because you know the value behind it. You're not trying to really convince people of anything. You're just, what you put into it. So it's just easier. So, kudos to you guys. And I do think there's a lot of trainers that I think hope to get to that point. And even myself, I put out stuff too that I loved. It's just hard to talk about every day. You know what I mean? Like, unless that is your content, it is hard to kind of push the, what you're selling every day.
Yeah. And I think it's not dissimilar from like players trying to like you asked Bobby, what like you think your kid should be in the most competitive environment. I think for us it's like we like basketball, we both played basketball, we make content about basketball. Okay, you know what? Let's try to make it so that we continue to do the things that we like the most, and then balancing it with like financial reality, and then like keep trying to move the needle more and more. That's essentially what you're trying to do, is like move the needle more and more to what do you want to be doing, and also fulfilling what you need to be doing financially. So it's not like, oh, the signal is logic of, oh, we got to go, number has to go through the roof. Not necessarily. It's how do we get to a point where we're doing exactly what we want to be doing, which is which is the things that we've been around forever, the things that we have connections with, players, player development, and that's the step we're on. And if it changes at some point, then it changes. I think a lot of people think about perception and like perceiving to be a certain way, and then because of that there needs to be some type of like short-term like money that comes in, I think there's a piece to it that's like in the beginning of social media, people like when you first start posting, everyone thinks you're making a lot of money, even if you like aren't. Like if you have like a ton of followers, everyone's like, oh, you're making a lot of money. It's like, you have no idea. And I think people try to like, they think of themselves so highly, like I'm an influencer, I'm a content creator. And it's like, there's people that have less followers than we do that I just can tell. Money. And it's just like, you're acting a way that's obviously completely tied to your belief in your importance because of your following. And I think people try to match the money with that, and they try to become something that like, they're just like not, and it's just not sustainable over the long
haul. One of my least favorite things, I mean, there's a couple things, but it is the trainer that thinks they're a celebrity, like posting every day, these kids, like, they'll see your thing and then it's gone. Like, they don't remember. I don't even remember what I watched yesterday on whatever I was scrolling on. I have no idea. It's in and out. Now they see every day, but like, man, I have just run into some people that I've talked to, work with, heard about that literally think they are like low grade celebrities on TikTok, Instagram. I'm just like, dude, nobody cares about this at all.
By the way, followers like don't matter at all. Like they're gonna get rid of
anymore.
it. They're gonna get rid of
anymore.
it probably.
Yeah. It's such a, like, TikTok has changed everything. Like, it's such a virality type of thing now. Like, it almost hurts when you get somebody to follow you, because if somebody follows you now, I'm no longer in your suggested. I'm no longer in your For You page. I'm not on your whatever page. You have to go to your following page to actually see me. And the amount of times that I actually see the people I follow is not very high. I actually see, if I watch a random video, like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I was watching, some guy was hunting. I forget what his name was. The next 5 videos are somebody hunting. And it's like, that's what it is now. It has nothing to do with the followers, like you're saying, Russ. I think eventually that's going to all go away. So we'll see, man. I mean, it's changing every day.
So we got to start saying, I post good drills, unfollow me.
Unfollow
me.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. So what's next for what you're doing? So you just asked us that. What do you think is like your next thing?
Well, we're building some things for parents in AAU. I talk a lot about that because I don't want to sit here and say the whole AAU system's broke, because there's a lot of people that get benefit. I got benefit from it, but I think that things could be better. And if I can't fix and I can't pour a ton of energy into fixing AAU, I can help parents navigate it better. So I'm working with my app guy to put out a product that's going to help parents navigate that and get the most out of it and find the right situation for them. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about future products like that, maybe aim a little bit more towards parents, things like that. The summer is going to be full of camps. I'm working with a ton of high schools. June, July, August is pretty much booked. I love doing camps. I want to do less. I want to do bigger ones. I want to have, be in front of more kids in different areas. I don't have a huge want or desire to run, the traditional like basketball gym in a big city. Not that I hate training every day, but it's, after a while it gets exhausting. So, we'll see what I do with that. But right now it's creating some better online products, pouring more energy into content, dealing with some brands, and just doing camps, man. And we'll see. I mean, my mind or my brain and my mind, they change. Feels like every month I want to do something new. Every 6 months I'm on a new path. So, I mean, we literally were in Des Moines, Iowa, which is a decent sized city. And we moved out to, a town of like 600 people again. So we're always changing, my wife and I. So we'll see.
How much time daily do you spend on this? And I mean all of this, right? You have your brand, you have your content, you have your gym. What would you estimate your time daily spent on what you do?
In my mind, it's almost all day. I think about content like all the time.
Yeah.
I think about content almost all day. If I'm going to shut my brain off, I have to be like, we live on a lake, so I'll go paddleboard, and that's usually when I'll shut my mind off. If I go play basketball, because I still like to play, I wish I could play more. There's just not that many people to play out here. When I play basketball, I shut my mind off. If I do, something like that, my mind will go off. Otherwise, I don't know, bro. I think about content all the time. I don't know if you can count that as working, but it is always turning. If something pops up, I'll pull my phone out, start to write down a script or some ideas. As far as training hours go, not that much. Like June, July, August are going to be wild, but training right now is not super heavy.
It's so funny when you hear people's like people that I know, like they'll complain, "Oh, I'm working like so long, like I'm working 16 hours or whatever." I'm like, first of all, it's like, what's happening in that? Second of all, it's like the brain literally doesn't shut off. Like dreaming during dreams, there's energy while I'm sleeping. There's energy, 100%. I believe this. There's energy being spent on figuring out like the next thing. Like there's
yes.
Even if it's like waiting.
Energy.
Like we just got in a period waiting. Like we were waiting. Like that was that freaking hurt too. Like there's we had to wait for things and plan things, whatever. But the brain doesn't stop, and people would not understand it unless you're in it. Literally never stops. And then couple that, it's not just content. It's content, and then it's business, and then it's like things breaking, and then it's like also trying to think about like constantly think about what is the message? What is the message that you're putting across? You know?
I feel like right now, this past, like, since I've been out here, especially throughout the winter, it's like dialing in, like, this is what I want to start talking about more. This is the type of content I want to post. This is what I want to do on court. I feel like the last couple months has been me like fine tuning what I really want, but it's so hard, man. It changes. Like I say, it does change, but having a kid has changed a lot as well. And I always said that it wouldn't, but it definitely has. So, even being out here with him and my wife, I mean, it changes a lot of the things that I do throughout my day as well. But yeah, the brain never stops, whether it be thinking about content or something else. But
yeah, people ask me for advice, and I don't even often know what to say. You got to start. But when I talk to guys like you, and I know Ross is very similar to me, it's from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep, and in Ross's case, even when he's dreaming.
When you're dreaming.
So Ross is beating all of us. You manipulated
dreaming
time.
Of videos, of hooks.
Yeah. So
does he know him?
What? Oh, the dude that goes, he turns. I had 3 days. What's that post?
It's the I had everyone says they have like one day, like 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. one day. Now 6 a.m. to noon, second day.
You don't know this video?
You have to. You've seen it.
No, that's crazy. I will send you this video.
Send it to me. I might have seen it. I don't know.
It's some dude that like he's actually the way he does what he does. He has to have like a somewhat of an understanding on so many different things. So he takes people that like will give like it's seemingly crazy advice. Like Andy Elliott. You know who that is?
Yeah, I know who that is.
So he's stitching their videos. What's his name? Ed Milet?
Ed Milet? Yeah, he takes an Ed Milet video.
Alex Hormozy.
I've seen this guy.
And he's hilarious. Like he'll do
he makes fun of that mindset basically, yeah.
Exactly. And he'll
I know exactly.
And it'll be like, "Oh, like," and I've just made a video like that for shooting. Like I just tried to do what he does. Like I was like saying like one motion shot, and I'm like, "Let me see your 2 motion shot." Then I'm like, let me see your 3 motion shot. Let me see your 30 motion. And I just kept going and going and going. But the way he does it, like he understands like what they're trying to say, and he just freaking like flips it on his head.
What do you think of this like training industry and like content wise? Like what you got, I don't know if you guys see stuff or if you're scrolling, like what do you think of the content that is popping up or people are making? What are your opinions on some of this stuff?
Like for
maybe not the drills, but just the way that what they're posting and how they're posting. Do you think it's helping? Do you think people are just throwing stuff out there to throw it out there? Do you think they're doing their best?
I think there's different types of people. I think there's the avatar, like the young kid avatar where you're like 17, 18 to like 23. And you're like posting basketball training tips, and they're like playing, and they're doing like LA Fitness runs, and they like give some tips here and there, like whatever. There's that person that's like, I like that person a lot. I like those people a lot. They're they're just like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I like those people. Then there's like I love those. I honestly respect everybody because content is not freaking easy. The thing that I don't like, if somebody's like, especially on a younger kid, if somebody's gonna like take a younger kid's thing and like try to shit on a younger kid, that like that person, like if you're gonna if the 17 to 23-year-old is getting shit on by like an older person, I don't like that, because it's like, dude, like you have to get over the fear of getting on camera. You have to show up. You don't want things in your head, and it's like, dude, like that is not pushing anybody forward, and it's not anybody's fault. There's something happening with that, but I love everybody's kind. Even if I don't agree 100%, like there's things that like, dude, Mike Dunn is smarter than I am. I would put my life on him getting somebody better at shooting 100%.
Sure.
But I don't agree with everything that he says, but I love his stuff. I love his freaking content. I agree with probably more now than ever, but but I love what he puts out and I respect what he puts out. So it's like I don't agree with like anybody. Like I don't agree with him a lot of the times. Like I'm in my own bubble, but there's no problem with disagreements.
No, I think that's a good thing. I think even me with Mike Dunn, we've done a couple camps together, and I've watched this stuff for a while. I actually asked him to put me through some of the stuff, and until I went through it, it's really hard to understand what the hell he's talking about and some of the stuff he does. And then I went through it, and I was like, all right, this is like the same stuff I believe in. You're just like, you have a different way of talking, you have a different way of doing the drills, whatever it is. But I think that's, I think trainers talk about this all the time, but there's like a war going on, obviously, and there's, people talking about other people's drills, and I'm like, dude, it's so hard to judge drills. It's like one of them, you have no idea. Like I'll see, I would say one of my least favorite things drill wise is like the guy that's doing the pick and roll segment that is predicting all the coverages and has done 3 rescreens and 4 snakes, and then he finally gets to shoot a 3. I'm like, dude, I don't know if that's good or not. But I can't have any idea. I have no idea. That'd probably make me a better ball handler. Maybe he's just working on multiple reps on a screen. I have no idea. Content is so difficult to judge. But I still think that there are some bad drills. There's some bad training out there that doesn't actually apply too much. But as far as judging that on content, I think it is kind of difficult.
Anyway, this is good. I like this.
Yeah,
the
problem though too is like the reason why Bobby, like the whole thing with good drills is that it's not like there's nothing special about the drills. It's how you do the drills, the principles around the drills, and like all of that. There's certain things that are gonna be that intuitive next step and be the right thing, the timing wise, of course. But it's like to say something is inherently good or bad beyond like. That's just not how it works, right? Strength training is good. That has nothing to do with basketball. If somebody's strength training and they're lifting 7 days a week hard and they're trying to get really good at basketball and they're in the middle of a season, now we're talking about the context around strength training, right? And if you try to like eliminate the context, or you're eliminating the kind of the parameters around what you're doing, you're eliminating the intensity, the focus, the rep sets, the whatever, the volume around what you're doing, anything, the mobility, the speed, then the competitiveness, the reading, you eliminate all of that, it's like there's nothing happening. Like you can't say anything, right? So it's like somebody in a moment, you could do one drill one way that I love, and if somebody else did it, it could be terrible. I could do a drill that somebody else would do, and I'll do it in a way that the players, there's nothing happening.
Yeah. What do you think it is, or how do you think it feels to be a kid right now or a player right now with all this stuff like at your fingertips? Do you think it's confusing, or you think it's like super helpful, or both?
I think it's confusing.
Like if I think if I was a kid, I would be all over the place. I just feel like I wouldn't know who to trust. I wouldn't know.
That's what we're trying to change. Now I'm going back to a little bit earlier in our conversation talking about social media trainers. And I think there is a feeling if somebody has a lot of followers on social media that they must be cheating, that they must not actually know what they're talking about. I think it's like almost a negative light. Like if I walk into a gym and I have no followers, or now I walk into a gym and I have a lot of followers, I have a lot of skepticism now because I have followers. And that's right. I think if somebody has light on them, if somebody has attention, there should be a bit of skepticism, right? But I want to change that. And that's why in a product we create, like the 21-day thing, you're going to test how many shots you can make on day 1, and you're going to test how many shots you can make on day 21, and you're going to see if it worked. Like, I'm not trying to hide it. And I think the more of us that can have open, honest conversations, kind of actually have long form dialogue like this, share who we are, have these conversations, people can trust stuff that's out there. But if I was a 15-year-old right now, depending on how the algorithm is responding to you, you could be surrounded by 100% bullcrap and everything that is going into your mind, and you live in this echo chamber now of just nonsense, and you're on your phone all day. What I think is actually happening now with the amount of content out there is these kids are on their phone for 10 hours a day, saving the drills they like, looking at the drills they like, commenting on the drills they don't like, weighing in on this, and they never go put in any work. And that's probably more than ever. And you can even argue that before social media, they were probably doing that more with video games, with partying, with playing, with other distractions. But I think it is just easier now to do 10 hours of nothing daily. than it's ever been. So a reason, again, for making our stuff so low IQ, it's you have this problem, go do this. We're always saying take action. And I think that's why we took
Go
off,
do it.
because we're hitting those pain points. You have no left hand, go do this. If you have no bounce and you do this, and we're always saying go do. People ask me questions that I think are dumb. I say go work. And that's the message in the comments. That's the message in our Discord. That's the message in our products. So you can hate on what we're saying. You can be distracted by maybe we're just some noise out there, whatever. But I know what I'm trying to get at, and I'm trying to get kids to take action.
Yeah, I do think that is one of your guys' superpowers is like, I just try to think of like, if I post something and if I was a kid rewatching, that's like always if I'm trying to give something educational, I'm like, would a kid understand this? Is it simple enough? Is it to the point? Is it?
I think that's, I told Bobby, I remember, and I was thinking about this yesterday, which is funny. I remember I told Bobby like, yeah, I don't really listen to podcasts. I'll like listen to YouTube in the car, like whatever. And I said like, yeah, no, I don't really like listen to what they're saying. Like I kind of just like, it's on and it's like the things that I like that are popping up that inspire me a certain direction, even if I disagree, kind of help me, you know? And I don't think, I'm not going to say that there's no responsibility to put out good information. I think, but what I will say is like, I think the true responsibility is putting out something that you actually like and putting out something that you actually believe yourself to be true, and not worrying about how because like the path from your idea to the content to them hearing it and seeing it to their brain to the behaviors that they take are way too far away. It's way too far away to know like how is somebody going to take this. If it's something that you like, that's why you put it out. Like the way you connect to those problems in AAU, like I'm going to go put this shit out. You could be wrong. You could be giving bad info. You could be saying something, but in that moment when you're making the script and you're creating it, you're like, this is really good. And when you put good out, like good's going to come back. And if your intention is right, good's going to come back. Somebody can take something with the purest intention. I said it the right way. I said everything the right way. And they freaking just take it and they botch it. And it becomes the worst thing they could have ever done in their entire life. Like that's not on me. Like I'm putting out good stuff and the intention is right.
Yep. I agree.
Well, I think it's we're good.
How deep are we?
An hour.
All right, so another
3 minutes.
Another hour, right?
No. No, that was a good I like this. You got anything you want to share? Anything you've been thinking about? Any final thoughts? Good thoughts?
Man, I think this was I don't know. I appreciate you guys doing the pod because one, there's not a lot of people that do this. I don't know. I don't know what your guys' metrics are. I have no idea. In my experience, when I've tried to do a podcast, like it wasn't super rewarding in certain areas, whether it be financially or whatever it was. So like you guys doing this and having these conversations, what I think it does is for me, the conversation is good to listen to and to have different perspectives, whether I agree or disagree. But I also think, and I was telling Bobby this the other day, like, I do think that this lets people know who you are at a little bit deeper level, and it puts even more value behind your guys' products and stuff like that. So I think it's great for you guys. I hope you guys keep doing it. I know a lot of trainers, they do the podcast and it kind of falls off. So I hope that you guys keep pumping out episodes, even though it is a little time consuming for you guys. But
well, we got Gabe. He makes it easy.
Yeah, we're all AI. We're not even here. Gabe made an AI of us. Yeah. So yeah,
you guys doing any AI stuff?
Gabe is ChatGPT.
Gabe is.
Yeah, Gabe doesn't do anything. It's just all AI. Gabe barely works.
What about? Oh yeah, Bobby, we already talked about YouTube. Yeah, YouTube's a whole nother animal as well. But
YouTube's a whole other beast. Yeah, I think it's funny because it's if we shouldn't be doing this for whatever reason, we wouldn't do it. You know, we wouldn't do it. So it's like we don't have to. And I think the problem when you get caught is like double guessing and double thinking. We didn't do a podcast last week because there's other things happening. Like we don't have to force it. But if it's like, all right, it's right. If it feels right, it's right. Like for us, like, and you just trust that gut.
Yeah, I'm not. The metrics aren't what's important. Like I think this is valuable, and the level of guests that we're able to get on now because of our following. I think it's a cool thing to be like, I can, send you a DM and we get on the phone and talk and you're on a podcast 4 days later. I think that's valuable. and we're just gonna keep doing it.
And we have a cool setup that
We
I
have a
made.
cool setup,
I made
yeah.
the whole
You
thing.
guys do have a cool setup, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Bobby, I appreciate the phone call, man. I mean, even having conversations with people you haven't talked to and things like that always helps. Gives me good perspective. Trust me, guys, I've listened to a lot of you guys' episodes, and like I said, I've stolen ideas and made them into videos. So I appreciate all the combos. For sure, man.
One of
You
the
guys
first
are killing
questions.
it too,
Wait,
man.
one of the first questions Shane asked was, "Who's your demographic?" And I was like, "I have no idea." And he's like, "Well, I listen." I was like, "Well, it's you then."
Yeah,
18 to 24-year-old males.
Yeah, it's influencers
Yeah,
with
yeah.
700 and whatever thousand followers.
Right.
Yeah.
We have all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have
Well,
any
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
any
the
pitches,
AU.
products, things you want to tell people about?
Yeah. So I have a training app that we're going to put some more energy into. I would say if there's parents listening, I'm going to have a product for parents for when it comes to AAU coming soon. And I travel all over the place doing camps across the country. So hopefully we'll get out to New Jersey at some point in my lifetime. And
I
be
feel
able
like
to
there's a
pop
Greg
into the,
Fahey thing
infamous.
there.
Yeah.
Greg Fahey's coming after. Do you know who Greg Fahey is? No. No, random Greg. Yeah. I feel like there's something there. But that AU product, I really that's something like once you have it out, we could freaking retroactively put it in this description here. That would be really good.
For sure. And I told Bobby this the other day. I was like, imagine, imagine where you guys first started thinking about the gym that you got into. That gym is like infamous now. The blue freaking gym with the stage and whatever the pennants. What are those colleges up on the wall on the stage?
Yeah.
Yep. With the rubber floor. Everybody's like, where is this? Is this a school? Is this a what?
It's so true. Everybody says, where is that?
Yeah,
It's my
it's funny how the more content you put out there, people get really used to like it's like a little home. They get used to your guys' space. So
we charge people to just walk in now. The school has no
Yeah,
part
you
of
should.
it. Yeah,
tours, yeah,
yeah, $25 to come
we
in.
should.
yeah, man. No, I appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah, and it's Hennen Workouts for anybody listening. And pleasure talking to you. If we can help in any way, reach out. And glad we got to do this.